Okay, so there's a regional conflict that's escalating, and believe it or not, it's putting the entire global economy on a knife's edge. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this crisis has huge consequences that go way beyond the headlines, and what's really at stake for all of us. Now, you might be thinking this is just some distant dispute, right? But its shockwaves are already hitting us, at the gas pump and even in the grocery store. So, how can a conflict thousands of miles away put your wallet at risk? Well, the answer is actually a lot simpler than you might think. It really just comes down to one thing: location. This entire crisis hinges on where it's all happening, a region that is basically the nerve center for global energy and trade. And as we're about to see, this incredible strategic importance has turned countries that are supposed to be neutral into the conflict's hidden casualties. So let's start with the first wave, the most immediate danger here, the direct military threat. You see, any retaliatory attacks are no longer just confined to the main players. No, the battlefield has gotten a lot bigger, and it's pulling in Gulf nations that have been trying desperately to stay on the sidelines. And what's really at risk here, we're not just talking about some isolated military outposts. We are talking about the actual economic engines of the modern world. Think about it: massive U.S. military bases, some of the busiest airports and ports on the entire planet, and, of course, the critical oil and gas facilities that power our civilization. All of it is now in the crosshairs. This really captures the impossible spot these Gulf countries are in. I mean, their stated goal, their official position, is to remain neutral and push for de-escalation. But the reality? Their strategic location has turned their own territory into a potential frontline in a war they desperately want to avoid. Okay, so let's move on to the second ripple effect, because this is how things start to build. It's the threat to the world's energy supply. This is the moment a regional military crisis goes global, becomes an economic one, and it all comes down to a tiny, tiny strip of water. This right here is the Strait of Hormuz. You can think of it as the world's energy superhighway. It's an incredibly narrow waterway, and it's pretty much the only route for nearly all oil and gas coming out of the Gulf. If this choke point gets shut down, the global economy could literally grind to a halt. And get this: somewhere between 20 and 30% of all oil traded on the entire planet has to pass through that one narrow strait. That is a staggering amount of risk concentrated in one very, very volatile place. But wait, it's not just oil. About a fifth of the world's LNG, that's the liquefied natural gas that heats homes and generates electricity all over the world, from Europe to Asia, also has to navigate this exact same route. The potential for disruption is just immense. And look, this isn't just some theoretical threat. Iran has explicitly warned shipping companies to stay away, and some vessels have already been attacked. So what happens? The big shipping companies and their insurers, they're hitting the brakes, avoiding the area, and that's causing massive delays. So, with the energy supply under threat, the crisis just radiates outward from there, causing a kind of paralysis in the global systems that we all depend on for travel and for trade. First, let's look at the skies. You've got widespread airspace closures, which have led to thousands of international flight cancellations. And because these massive global hubs like Dubai and Doha are right in the middle of this mess, a flight from, say, New York to Sydney could get impacted. It's a worldwide aviation snarl-up. And the exact same thing is happening at sea. It's like a domino effect. The attacks increase the risk, so ships are forced to reroute and take the long way around Africa. That adds anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks to their journey, which of course causes shipping costs to absolutely skyrocket. And guess what? That cost gets passed right on to you for everything from a new phone to furniture. So, beyond the immediate chaos in shipping and energy, this whole conflict is forcing a major long-term strategic rethink in the Gulf. The aftershocks from this could permanently reshape the political landscape of this entire critical region. You just have to imagine the delicate balancing act these leaders are facing. It's like walking a tightrope. On one side, you have their main security partner, the United States. And on the other, you have their powerful neighbor, Iran, and their biggest energy customer, China. If they side too strongly with one, they risk some serious retaliation from the others. And the risk isn't the same for everyone. Each nation is facing its own unique set of vulnerabilities. For Saudi Arabia, it's all about protecting its huge oil infrastructure. For a country like Bahrain, it's the fact that it hosts the U.S. Fifth Fleet, making it a prime target. And for Qatar, it's the potential shutdown of its LNG exports, which is the lifeblood of its economy. So, in response to all this, experts are predicting we might see a whole new security playbook start to emerge. This could mean anything from stronger military ties with the U.S. and buying more missile defense systems, to, and this is the paradox, actually deeper diplomatic engagement with Iran to try and cool things down. The old rules just may not apply anymore. So, look, if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. The Gulf's unique position, right at the intersection of American military power, global energy supply, and these critical shipping lanes, is precisely what makes it so exposed. Even when trying to be a neutral party, it's stuck at the epicenter of all the fallout. And that really leaves us with the critical question for the future. Is this ongoing crisis going to push these nations to figure out new strategies for their own security, creating a more independent, more self-reliant Gulf? Or will the immense pressure just force them to pick a side, tying their fate even more tightly to the geopolitical games of the world's superpowers? The answer to that is going to define this region for decades to come.